The city of Rochester is shutting down a homeless encampment on the city's northeast side. 13 WHAM's Jackie Napier spoke to people who live there and the city's corporation counsel about what she calls active opioid use at that site. Jackie?
I spoke to people without homes who say pitching a tent at 31 Loomis Street offers them community, safety, and makeshift shelter. However, Linda Kingsley, the city's corporation counsel, says the encampment is not a safe or appropriate place for anyone to live. On Sunday, Rochester police officers located a deceased man inside of a makeshift sleeping area at the Loomis Street encampment. We're told there were no obvious signs of trauma, and the medical examiner is investigating the cause of death. In September, another man was stabbed staying there. Out of options, some have to live on the street.
Who wants to be homeless? I mean, I don't want to be here.
This man has been living at the Loomis Street encampment for a week and a half, but says others have been here for years. After losing his job, months of back rent piled up and he was evicted. He says he does not want to live here, but feels that he has no other choice.
This is the only place that I can stay warm to the best of my ability, stay out of the rain.
Linda Kingsley says Monroe County has been to the Loomis Street site on many occasions to offer people options. They include drug treatment programs and alternative shelter. But, quote, some of the folks who live there will not accept any of those options, end quote. If people continue to stay on the property, Kingsley says the city will have no choice but to arrest them for trespassing. Kingsley calls the situation heartbreaking for both people who are homeless and homeowners in the neighborhood.
If you go out there and look around, there are needles everywhere. There are women who leave that site under what we can only assume are sex trafficking to pay for their drugs circumstances. We own this land. How do we sit there and allow this to happen on our land?
City leaders plan to build a fence around the encampment. They say cultural groups have expressed interest in using the land as part of an art center that is developing nearby.
A former Village of Geneseo police officer leaving the Livingston County Jail tonight. He's accused of sexual misconduct on the job.
Is there anything you'd like to say about the allegations? Is there any comment?
No comment tonight. In addition to serving in Geneseo, 29-year-old Christopher O'Rourke was a police officer in Mount Morris and Watkins Glen, and most recently, a deputy in Tompkins County. Good evening. I'm Doug Embledge.
And I'm Matt Malloy. O'Rourke is accused of coercing a woman into a sex act and threatening to take her to jail if she did not comply. 13 WHAM's Carla Rogner was in court tonight as he was formally charged with those crimes. Carla?
Yeah, that's right. Cameras were not allowed in the jail tonight for the arraignment. O'Rourke was stoic in front of the judge, and he didn't answer our questions as he was released from jail tonight. He is charged with a felony sexual offense and official misconduct. A man who once took an oath to enforce the law, now accused of breaking it while in uniform. The Livingston County District Attorney says Christopher O'Rourke was working for the Geneseo Police Department when he pulled over a woman for driving drunk in early July. A few weeks later, that woman came forward and told authorities O'Rourke had forced her into a sexual act as he drove her home, threatening to take her to jail if she didn't comply.
While there may be a strong misconception that police may be above the law or are willing to look the other way when one of their own may have engaged in criminal conduct, I can tell you that nothing is farther from the truth, and that the consensus in this county is that no one, absolutely no one, is above the law.
O'Rourke had worked for the Geneseo Police Department since 2019. He resigned voluntarily in August, a month after the alleged crime, and took a job with the Tompkins County Sheriff's Office, where the sheriff said he passed a background check. After state police arrested O'Rourke, it was revealed he had just been fired from his position in Tompkins County for making an inappropriate sexual comment to a community member. While criminal charges were not filed for that incident, O'Rourke was barred from ever working in law enforcement anywhere ever again. O'Rourke has also had stints working as an officer in Mount Morris and Watkins Glen. New York State Police are now asking people in those four communities to take a good look at this photo of the former officer.
We are asking that anyone who may have had an encounter with Officer O'Rourke or may have information about potential inappropriate conduct by him while employed in his law enforcement capacity to immediately contact the New York State Police.
And O'Rourke is released until his next court date on December 13th at the Geneseo Village Court. If he is convicted of these charges, he faces up to 4 years in prison.